Alright guys, so here's the motor all wrapped up. You can see that it has the transmission as well with the entire engine, and it has all the accessories and things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and begin unwrapping it, and then we'll go ahead and check it out. The only thing that I noticed that this thing really had a problem with was the dipstick in the front. It was bent, but I have my other one over here that I can go ahead and use. This one has no issues with it, it's perfect. So we'll see if that's the only problem, and then we'll go from there. And if we need to replace anything else, I have my other parts for my motor, so we should be okay. But let's go ahead and check everything out and start wrapping it. Alright, so right now I'm taking a quick look at the engine, and for the most part, everything looks like it's in pretty good shape. There's just like these flywheels right here that look bad. This one right here for the water pump actually looks like it's in pretty good shape. This right here is just rusted. I do have my new one for my engine that I can just take off and put on here. And then this one I most likely have to purchase. This one looks like crap, but in order to remove this one, it's pretty difficult, so I most likely won't do that. And then this one, I hope it's good, because on mine, this one's no good. And then we have this alternator right here, which it doesn't look bad. Power steering pump right here. The flywheel looks like they chopped it on one end, right there. Not exactly sure why that is, but there's like these broken pieces from the wood right here that I need to try to take off, because it's just like sitting on there. And it kind of like dented it in, so I have to try to move some of these wood pieces or lift up the engine to get it out of the way. For the most part, the block looks pretty clean. I'm not sure if it's just like been sitting there, that's why it looks kind of dirty. This right here, I'll take this off just to ensure that it's a newer one, because I know on mine it just like cracked in half. So I'll remove like all of these hoses just to check it out. The only thing I really noticed that seems to be damaged is this right here. And then this right here, they cut it. And then they have the harness right here that it looks like they just cut from the connectors right there. So it should technically be like reusable. Yeah, like right there you can see that. These look like they are reusable. I could just take it off of these connectors and remove it. I think that's technically it for the most part. And I thought this hose was good, but they cut it on this side over here. You can see that the oil pan looks pretty similar to mine. It's actually the same, so that was going to be like one of my concerns, and it looks like it's the same, so I shouldn't have a problem with that either. And then over here, you have everything else. There's no like leakage over here on the side. I'm going to go ahead and replace the gaskets that go right here either way. And then I do have an extra transmission now, in case I ever need it. It looks like it's in pretty good shape. I don't see anything wrong with this one. I'm going to go ahead and begin by removing like a bunch of things. I don't really know where I'm going to put the motor at, because I do need to lift it to get access to some of the things in the front. There's a few things, but for the most part it doesn't look damaged. I'm just worried about the bottom part, because this thing like collapsed right there. So we'll see if anything's damaged. But I have most, if not all, the pulleys if I need to reuse any of them, and then have a brand new one for this one. But yeah, we'll see right now. The good thing is I have a bunch of parts left over as well if I want to reuse anything. Supposedly this motor only has 59,000 miles. Supposedly, I don't know if that's 100% true, but from the looks of it, from like the top part, everything does look like in really good condition, like if it is newer. Even like this right here, it looks like they just cut it, but this hose looks like it's in pretty good condition. None of the lines are really like super hard, which is like an indication that a lot of it is kind of old. But for the most part, it's all in really good shape. I'm not sure what happened here. I don't know if this just broke off. It looks like it might have. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it did like break off right there. But I have mine from my car, so I could just replace it. Like here's this that goes on top of it, like that. And then the cap goes over that, but I don't see the cap anywhere. But usually it's supposed to thread in, and I think the thread's on the outside, so I think the top did actually break. Alright guys, so today is the next day, and I already started taking a few things apart off of the new motor, and I actually removed the valve covers already, and I wanted to show you guys something really interesting compared to the old motor and this new one right here. I already took off the plugs that go in there, and then I took off all the bolts, but let me show you what this one looks like right here. So here's the old valve cover, and that's how it looks on the inside. As you can see, it's like filled with a bunch of oil right there. Now if we look at, well actually let me show you something else right here since I have this off. This right here also gets really old, and right there you can see that there's like a little bit of flex, but not too much. This is actually supposed to be rubber, and it feels almost like hard plastic, like completely hard plastic. Now if we look at the other one over here, look how different that looks. The other one was like that color right there, all brown and yellowish, and this one looks completely like brand new on the inside. So this is a good start so far, looking really good on the internal components of the engine. So I'm really excited about it. And then this right here, that right there is a lot softer. See that? When I push it in, you can actually like feel it move, versus the other one you can't feel it at all. And then these like seals that are on the inside, the rubber seals, they feel a lot newer. They didn't crack or anything, versus my old ones over there. As soon as I took it off, they like broke into little pieces. I'm actually going to be replacing the seals anyway, just because I already have some new ones that I ordered that I was going to put on the other valve covers, but I just stopped when I saw that there was a lot of oil all over the place. And the ones that came on here, like these ones right here, they're really hard. They have a bunch of cracks, like right here it broke in half, versus the other one it didn't even break at all. And then I have these new ones right here that I'm going to put in place, which are completely new. So that's one thing that I'm going to replace automatically before even putting this on the car, because doing this job while the engine is in there is a lot more difficult, versus it being out. I have easier access to it, do it right here. I just need to get some sealant on the edges, because from factory they require you to put some on there, and it has it just on 2 spots over here. On the driver's side actually has a lot more like on each corner, so I will have to purchase that first before actually replacing it, that way I can seal it back up. This one does have damage right here, but it doesn't look like it went like all the way through. But when you turn the valve cover over, you can actually see like the damage that it did like crack it a little bit. But I'm just gonna like shave this down and then add some filler on there that's meant for like heat, and then I think that should be good right there. As for the other side, there's nothing wrong with it. I actually was able to save this. And like another thing that's telling me that this is a newer motor is because all of the rubber hoses, they are so soft. If you guys have seen the other video that I made on replacing the little stems that go right here, the PCV valves, they actually broke when removing them. And also when I was trying to remove this for the valve cover, it broke off as well, and it broke the entire piece, and I couldn't reuse that. These are a lot newer. These seals are still good on the inside, so I want to keep those. And then for the front side, there's a lot of things that, well, not a lot, but a few things that were damaged. For example, this one right here, this wheel that was right there, it's completely bent. Oh, actually, this is the bottom one. Yeah, this one was completely bent down there, but I have mine that I can reuse. It was just sitting like that, and it looks like it broke off this section right here, which is like the spring, and it doesn't work anymore, so this is trash. I have my other one that I can just put on there. I already put my newer thermostat in here because the old one, it wasn't like in bad condition right here. I just have a newer one. This one supposedly has about 59,000 miles on it. I had a brand new one directly from Nissan that only had maybe a few thousand miles on it, so I just decided to put that one on there, and that was honestly pretty much it for the most part that I think I did. Everything else I just removed, like a few things that were broken or messed up. I took off the headers, which are those right there. I took off this right here. You just gotta pull on it. There's like nothing really holding it except for like one bolt right here. Once you take that off, then you gotta pull it. But this one was like completely bent. And now we have my other one right there going all the way down. The only problem that I'm kind of running into right now is to disconnect the transmission. I need to get under the engine in order to be able to disconnect those 4 bolts that go to the torque converter, but I don't have access like this, so I would have to go ahead and lift it to be able to do that. I could disconnect the transmission, take that out, and then the torque converter would be stuck on there, but I still would need to lift the engine to go ahead and remove the torque converter. That way I could put it in, or I could just put it in like that, but I don't want to damage the torque converter because I'd rather actually take off the torque converter, put it on the transmission while it's in the car. So you can see right there, if you remove the torque converter, it has a bunch of little like gears and teeth that it holds on to, and if you just like shove it in there with the engine, you could damage the teeth in there, and I don't want to do that. For the most part, I have removed the entire wiring harness. It's only attached to like the transmission now, but that's not really going to matter because I'm taking the transmission off. And right here's like the wire harness, everything that came with it. And I just need to get this one right here, but it's stuck under the engine, and I need to lift that to get the rest of them. And then over here I just have that one that goes to the starter. Now for the starter, I did actually find another problem. Well, it's not like a huge problem, but there's like a little bit of damage on this connection to the starter, so I would have to clean that up. Luckily it didn't like completely rip it, but that did happen. So I mean, I could just take my starter off and put it on here, but this one's a lot newer, and of course I'd rather keep this one since it's a newer starter. It doesn't look like there's any damage on the bottom because it's laying on wood, and the bottom portion of the motor is pretty strong, so it doesn't look like it got damaged, but once we lift it, we'll be able to see a little bit more. But for the most part, I don't see like any leaks or anything, so I doubt that it has any damage on there. Just wanted to give you guys a quick update on the new motor, how it's going, things that I'm finding. But I'm really happy with it so far. It does look like a newer motor. A little bit of an update, I was able to get the motor onto the engine hoist. That way I can go ahead and lift it off of the wooden crate right here. And unfortunately, there is damage on the motor on the bottom, which I did suspect because the wood and the front was broken and it fell down. I was pretty sure there was going to be some type of damage on the oil pan, and there was. So I went ahead and talked to the company that sold me the motor. They said that the engine was actually good, there was nothing wrong, there was no cracks, but that they're going to open up a claim with the delivery company, which I have seen a lot of bad reviews on, that they don't deliver things either on time or they mess up your items when delivering it. So I do believe them, but I'm going to go ahead and take off the oil pan off of the new motor, check it out to see if there's any problems. I did actually rotate it and I didn't have any issues rotating the engine, and it does look brand new, so I do believe that it is a brand new motor, and it's just the oil pan got messed up when it was delivered. Like, they could have done a better job, of course, of having it delivered, because this is a pretty heavy engine and you're putting a lot of weight, especially with the transmission attached to it as well, on top of this wooden crate in order to support the entire engine on just the oil pan. So I did believe that there was going to be some type of damage, but good thing is that my oil pan is in really good condition. I just need to go ahead and remove it, and then we should be good to go ahead and install this motor. Now, you're probably wondering how I took off the transmission, and I'm being 100% honest. I removed all the bolts, then I wiggled it out, and I lifted it with my own power. So I didn't like use the hoist or anything. I just wiggled it, then got it out of the way and just put it to the side. But I'm going to clean up this mess right here because I just tilted the motor. I got really frustrated because now I had to go ahead and either buy a new oil pan, or I had to go ahead and reuse this one, and a bunch of the fluid came out, so I just got to clean it up. My goal is to go ahead and redo the garage anyway and make it look really nice and like a show car garage. So I'm not really worried about the floor or anything. That's going to be fixed in the future anyway. But that's a little bit of an update. I think I'm going to go ahead and close out the video right there. So far, the engine does look brand new. It looks really good. I have no doubt that it is. But it is unfortunate that we have to go ahead and replace a few more things. It's going to delay the process. I was supposed to go ahead and put the motor in this weekend, but if this might delay it. I mean, it shouldn't be very difficult. If I can get it done, we'll do it right away this weekend. But if not, I'll have to extend out a little bit further. But yeah, that's a quick update. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.